Hi, hello, namaste to all my listeners. I'm your host Sarthak Varshney, and I welcome you all to the Balls of Steel show, where you get an insight into the business mindset of the entrepreneurs. Dhandho Ni Soch. Our today's guest is Miss Sony Jain. Hi, Sony.
Hi Sarthak, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Great, I'm doing great.
Great. It's good to see this energy during the evening at the time at that which we are recording this podcast. Good to
Yeah,
see that.
I thought I would die at this moment, but thankfully I did not. So yeah, that's an achievement.
No, no, I wouldn't ask you to die. I mean, Corona is already killing lots of people. Please stay safe.
Oh, true. That's really true. I agree.
Right, right, right. So, Sony, what is the business that you're running because of which we're gonna say that you've got the balls of steel?
So I would say that I have a marketing agency, and I'm not just another digital marketing agency which are there in the market. We are a
Hmm.
360-degree marketing agency. We deal with offline and online marketing both, and we within 1 year we have been able to achieve our operations in India and Canada. So that is
Right.
why I would say that we have the balls of steel.
That's great, and I would say that's a great of an achievement. I mean, within 1 year, India and Canada, that's a huge, huge deal.
Yes.
Kudos to you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so moving on, Sony. The way this thing starts, I want you to tell me everything in detail from the very starting point till the current point at which you are in your business in detail.
Okay, so that's a very, very, very broad question. Do you want me to start from my childhood, or do you just want me to
I
start
don't
from my
mind that.
journey?
No, no, I don't mind that. You can start from your childhood also.
Okay, so I would say I would not actually start from my childhood. I would not make
Hmm.
it that long. I will just
Hmm.
start how we started with the ad code. So
Right,
so me and Arpit, we were one day it happened over a beer, honestly. So we he's my cousin, and we both have been brought up together, so
right.
we both know each other really well. And he was also like, we both got tired of our monotonous work cultures, and we thought like we were finding it difficult to survive in our boring jobs. So we just thought that we will start with something of our own, since Arpit also had the marketing background, and
Hmm.
I also had recently done the marketing course, and I was also into business development from the past 3 years. So I had
Hmm.
been doing business development for my father's company itself, in which I was also handling the marketing part. So we both
Okay.
kind of had the marketing experience, and we thought that okay, this is the correct time to go about it. And we just started with the marketing agency. I still remember it was 14th of November, so I was at his place, and we were just talking about it. And
Hmm.
at that point of time he suggested that why don't we just start something of our own. I was like, sure, let's do it. It was honestly, it was we were having beer at his place, and he was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's do it. I was like, okay, let's do it, let's give it a try. And he was working at Sennheiser at that time. He also chose to left his job leave his job. And then that is how we just started with it, and it has been a roller coaster after that. Because after that I like after starting the ad code, within 3 to 4 months I moved to Canada. We both
Okay.
weren't really sure how we are going to achieve this and how we are going to manage this, because I went for my MBA. So I had to
Okay.
manage my MBA and this new startup side by side, and that to that startup which I have in India, so completely different time zone.
Right.
Right. So I actually have given a lot of sleepless nights, even today. Like we have, like both of us, we actually have sleepless nights. We don't know what time it is. So the time difference is something which we are managing really well. And considering that my MBA, like I did my MBA also with
Right.
this startup, and I have been able to make this marketing agency a success. So
Hmm.
that is something we are really proud of. That is what
Okay.
I would say that my journey is in a very short sentence, or very short manner, I would say.
Okay, okay, but let me tell you something that we don't do short at Balls of Steel. We talk in detail because that's where the learning comes from.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you and I'm gonna start pulling out questions so that we can dive deeper into this journey and look at everything that has shaped you to what you have become right now. Right. Okay, so my first question is like you told us that you and Arpit are cousins and that initially you used to handle business development marketing for your family business. So that tells us that your father and your family is into business. So probably we can think of, or maybe it would be right to say that you come from a business background and that has rubbed off into your bloods and veins, and probably with that you couldn't do a job and you started the own business. So with that said, I want to talk about the seeds of the entrepreneurship which got sown in the early ages. So tell me more about from your early experiences, what all you used to do, connect those dots with which we can see that those seeds were there and that you started this journey.
Okay, that's very, very, very true that I come from a business family, and I think business is just in my blood. It is there and nobody can take it out. Maybe that is one reason I was able to manage both the things together, because while doing MBA, I did my MBA in international business. So
Okay.
it wasn't a very difficult journey for me, I would say. Right, I did not
Mm-hmm.
face problem understanding the concepts. So that
Hmm.
is all because of the background which I have in business.
Hmm.
So my father, he actually, his story is really, really interesting. And I have grown up listening to his stories, and I have grown up learning from his experiences. Right. So he has
Mm-hmm.
been my mentor always. And
Right.
we initially, I will just tell you, we initially had the manufacturing of glitter
Okay.
products. Okay, so it
Right.
was named as Sony Glitters only. So that is how I got my name also. One of my chachu, he handles that. And my
Mm-hmm.
father, he is into import and export business now. So that glitter manufacturing which we have, that is actually by the name of Sony Glitters, and that is how I got my name. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's not from Sony TV, it's from Sony Glitter. So yeah. So yeah, that was
Okay.
and I would say that my father, he has been into import and export business, and I have seen him grow. Right, and I have
Right.
seen his journey, and he would always come home and tell us his stories, which which has reshaped and formed us into the way we are currently, me and my brother both.
Right.
Right, he
Right.
would tell us his stories, he would tell us his experiences. So for example, I'll just give you one of my father's stories, which is
Please,
really
please do.
inspiring. Okay, so once he went to, I guess, Europe. So my father, he isn't that good with English, I would say. Okay, and once he went to Europe for
Right.
and to meet one of his clients, and there he was just buying some material, and he told the guy that this material which he was selling him was flawed. So we deal with paper and packaging rolls. I'm not sure if you've seen that. So it's like a,
I-
okay, yeah, it's like a kitchen roll in a very, very huge form.
right. Right. I've seen that. I've seen that. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So we deal with that. So my father told him that it was flawed, it was blocked. Okay, and that guy, he was so adamant, and he was so sure about his product that no, this is the best quality material which we have. And my father, he was just from his experiences, he did not even touch the like he did not even see the material. Like that guy, when he bought the material, he bought it as the prime material. Right, and
Right.
my father, he was just walking around knocking each and every roll, and
Right.
he just stopped at one roll, and he was like, this one is flawed, this one is not the prime material which you're selling me. He was like,
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about, that's just some BS you're talking about. And my
Right.
father was like, if this is not flawed, I will buy it at whatever price you quote me. And that guy,
Right.
so at that point of time, what he did, that guy, he called one of his workers. They started cutting the roll, and that roll was
Hmm.
actually blocked from inside. So the guy who was selling the
Okay.
material, he went in complete shock. He was like, I don't know how you got to know this. You just knocked on it, and I am still not sure how you got to know this. So even I was shocked. I asked my father, like, what exactly happened? Like, how did you get these power, right? Like, how could you see
Right.
inside the materials? At that point of time, he told me that it's just from the experience. So while I was walking, I was
Hmm.
knocking on each and every roll, and it was the
Hmm.
sound which I heard. So it was different in that one, in that particular role. It was really different, that sound, which told me that this material was blocked. So at that point of time, I understood that there are a lot of things which a textbook cannot teach you, and it's the
Right.
experience which will help you go way 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 forward in future. So that guy eventually, he offered my father a job. He was like, why don't you just stay here with me? I will pay you whatever you're earning right now. I will pay you two times of that. My father, he
Right.
told him, why don't you come to India with me, and I will pay you three times the money you have. Right, so I would say that the balls of steel, the name of the show you're using right now, that is
Right.
what my
Right.
father has. So that is where
Right.
I learned it from. So yeah, that is one of
Right.
my favorite stories, I would say, and there are many such stories, and these have inspired me quite a lot. These have taught me so much, I would say. Like, having a business background is such a huge advantage for me here.
Hmm.
And there are so many things which textbook could have never taught me. So even when I
Hmm.
was working with my father for 3 years, I learned so many things which I did not even hear of, even in my MBA. Even right now, I never heard of those things. Right, like
Okay.
whatever I've learned earlier, I did not come across those during my MBA, because that's general knowledge for me. Right. And
Right.
even when we were studying about concepts, even during my graduation, when I was studying about those concepts, so those
Hmm.
were general knowledge for me. That was like, okay,
Right.
yeah, like that's obvious. But for other students, they would get fascinated, and they would be like, oh my God, okay, something like this also happens. And I would always go like, yeah, of course, like this was supposed to happen. So that is the kind
Right.
of difference, I would say, is there when a person has a business background, and when you are learning from your own.
Right.
So you learn quite a lot from your own experiences, and you learn a lot
Right.
from others' experiences. You just have to listen. So one of the quality a good leader, I would say, has is the quality of listening.
Right.
Right, so that is something which I have incorporated into my life, that always listen first and then speak.
Right.
Yeah, so that is one of the learnings which I have. And another thing, if you would say, which made me interested in marketing. So I also did my internship in Ogilvy and Mather. So that was my first
Okay.
internship
Wow.
which I did. So from there, I gained interest in advertising and marketing. I saw the
Right.
culture over there. I saw how people were working. I saw how companies would come in, how they would just go crazy over the minutest detail in the
Right.
graphic design, in the creative. And at that point of time, I would think that it doesn't even matter. Like, they should just let it be. But later on, gradually, I learned and I understood that even the slightest of the mistakes which you do can hamper
Right.
your whole career, your whole future. It stays. So you should always think, you should always listen before you're talking, before you're speaking. So yeah, that is something which is very essential, I would say. So even when somebody is starting their own business, they should
Mm-hmm.
listen to the market, what is happening in the market, understand the demand, understand what is happening, and then start something. If you are starting just because everybody is starting a marketing agency, we should also do it. No, that is not the way. If you know the market, like for example, me and Arpit, we knew the market, we
Hmm.
knew exactly how it was working, we knew exactly what was happening in the market, we knew how it
Hmm.
worked, right? We had that experience. That is how we decided that okay, now we can start something of our own, and we should. So I think that is one of the major criterias for success, that you
Right.
understand whatever you are going for.
Right. 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 That's now something that's what I would call a detail about, how a business gets into you. So that's the kind of detail we look forward to. Okay. Okay. So moving on, Sony, there are lots of question that that arises here, right?
Hmm.
First of all, like the very first nature that that comes into businesses, that for people who are doing business, and if they belong to a business family, is that you know that you wouldn't have had issues starting the business, right? It would probably have been a piece of cake, or maybe leverage some money from home or of those sorts. So why don't you tell us about your initial days, and how did you start ad code, and how did you fund the ad code, and all those things that you did, and what was the mindset during that time, and if you went through these thought processes, that am I just taking some money from my parents and then starting this off, or am I adding to the family business, so that we as a family can grow and have a better empire and create a legacy for the family. So what all was going through in your head the point you were starting these things, and for this culture that exists in India?
Right. So this is the kind of question, Sadhak, I've actually come across quite a lot of times, that
Right.
maybe coming from a business family, you have an advantage. So I
Hmm.
agree. There are a few people who have this advantage, who take this advantage, and there is nothing wrong with that. If you have money, you
No.
should always invest it, right? But
Right. Right.
in my case, I would say that I did not actually invest quite a lot. So me and Arpit, we
Hmm.
moved very strategically, right? We did
Okay.
not choose to invest a lot in, maybe I would say, the office space or anything. So what we chose to do,
Hmm.
we started with the freelancer model.
Okay.
Right. So we would hire freelancers, the best freelancers, those were there to do our work.
Right.
So I also
Right.
had a lot of knowledge about how digital marketing worked. Arpit had all the knowledge of how offline marketing worked. Right. So
Right.
I gained that knowledge. I learned
Right.
all of that before starting this business. I learned all of that. So because I
Right.
had that knowledge, I went for this. Had I
Right.
started this business without having knowledge, I would have never
Hmm.
succeeded in it. So I would say the initial investment which was there was the experience and the knowledge which we had. It wasn't
Right.
it wasn't the capital which we had to put in. Right. I think
Right.
these days everybody is starting their own marketing agency, and it is not even that difficult.
No,
Okay,
no.
anybody can start it, but the point is, what kind of work do you do in that business? What kind of
Hmm.
quality are you providing in that business? So that is
Exactly.
where the difference comes in. Right. So a lot of
Right.
people. So if I talk about the ad code's speciality lies in the conception, design, and development of human-centered campaigns, as well as connecting ideas with interactive potential of new age media. So this is where I would say ad code's speciality lies. Right.
Right.
So, but if you're asking me that if I had an advantage coming from a business family, um, I don't know how to answer that question. I cannot deny that I did not have the advantage, because maybe
Hmm.
somewhere, even if I did not invest my father's money, so I have been the kind of person who always wanted to fund her own daily expenses, I would say. And so that is the kind of person I have been, and I've never
Right.
chosen to take money from my father.
Right.
Right. Even when we started with this business, we both started with our own savings, and I did
Right.
not use my father's money. But I would say there was a peace of mind. I knew even if this failed, I can
Right,
always go back to my father's business and help him there. Right.
right,
So I think there is that advantage is there. Somewhere or the other, it is there. But eventually, you have to work really hard. So that no matter if you're coming from a business family or not, you have to
right,
work hard to make your business a success. It does not happen. So actually, I have had this heated discussion with one of my friends. So he does not come from a very well-to-do family, I would say. Okay,
right,
so I would always suggest him that why don't you also start your own business? So at that
right,
point of time, he was like, it is, you are just able to do the business because you come from a business family and your father has enough money to invest in. Right. So at that
right.
point of time, I told him that sorry, it is not my father's money. It is the
Mm-hmm.
mindset which I have. I was ready to work hard.
Exactly,
I was ready to
exactly
work
right,
hard. I do not, it's not always about money. Yeah? I believe it's about the brains you have. It's about how you utilize your skills, how you choose which skills do you want to develop further. Right.
right,
It's the decisions which eventually pays off. It is
right.
not the money and not that criteria. So when people tell me that okay, it's just I cannot do a business, I'm scared of business, I cannot take risks, so that is where I would say people fall behind. One thing which I
Right.
always say, that doubt kills more dreams than failure ever does. So this
Definitely
is
right.
one of the things I truly believe in. If I feel that okay,
Right.
I need to start with something, I would start with it. I will give it a thought. I will understand what needs to be done to
Mm-hmm.
start that business, and what would be the complications that I would be getting into if there is a demand in the market. First of all, if there is a demand or not.
Hmm.
So, for example, you started the podcast. You are seeing that everybody, like, there is a demand for the podcast. So, you started with it, which is a very good decision, I would say. Right.
Right.
So such things, like, you need to understand the market, you need to stay focused, you need to be aware of your own surroundings. If you just think that
Right.
okay, I'm passionate about something, of course you should start that if you're passionate about it. But also look at the demand and what exactly is happening. Otherwise, what happens, you might have seen a lot of people who
Mm-hmm.
have passion for something, they would start their business without giving it a much thought, and then they
Right.
would, I personally have seen those kind of people. I'm not saying that everybody who is passionate about something
Mm-hmm.
they maybe fall behind or I do not want to take it in a negative way, but generally if
Mm-hmm.
you do not do the market research before you are starting anything, then there are possibilities of you failing. Right,
Right.
there are higher possibilities. So when you do the market research, you are just figuring out, you are just understanding the future, I would say. You are understanding
Right.
what is the demand in the market, what exactly needs to be done, how we are going to achieve this, what kind of complications are we going to get into. So these are the kind of questions you should always ask yourself. What is the competition in the market? How many people are doing that? How many people are taking interest? So such questions, when you ask such questions, and then you start something, you always, I would say, you 90% of the time you succeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that was very, very well said and very well quoted, Sony. And honestly, this was the intention that I had, that I wanted to bring out this fact, ki, guys, whosoever listening to this, I mean, you would have probably noticed that, not all people not all of my guests, not, I won't say people, not all of my guests come from family, business family background, but whosoever does, they are putting their life online. They are, you know taking all the risk, they're putting in all the hard work and the passion to run that business.
That's
And
true.
those are one of the reasons that I specifically ask such questions, that to bring out this reality, that even for Sony, if you would see that she hasn't taken a penny. And okay, I do agree to the fact that with many people, the situation is that you cannot fall back, and that is something I would say I don't personally believe in luck, but then that's a situation I would rather call. I wouldn't say luck, but that's a situation. And I understand, everyone has a situation. But that doesn't mean that you stop taking risk. And then re-quoting Sony that it's all about the mindset. And that's what even I say. It's all about the mindset. If you
So,
think so that you can work around it, if you have the guts, if you have the balls, go and do the business. The business always has better revenue and better streams of income and more success than a job ever will. Saying that you can't do business just because you don't have funds, that's always going to be a shitty reason.
that's very true, and I do not believe people. So there was something which I read today, that
Right.
when you are like, what are the three main things you should look for when you want to
Hmm.
start a business, right? So
Hmm.
one of those was always ask for help. Right,
Right.
if you think that you have a passion about something, if you think that okay, this there is the demand in the market for this product, and if you
Right.
are able to convince other person, right, if you're telling me you
Right.
don't have the funds, why are there investors these days? Why are they investing in so many startups? Agreed, it is
Right.
very difficult to get investment, but
Right.
again, there are people who are getting it. And why are they getting it? They're getting it because they started something. They had a proof of concept, right? They took the risk. So it's the risk factor. The thing is, you cannot make easy money. If you are
Right.
going to do that, you are going to fall back. Trust me, one day or another, you will fall back really badly. Right. So do not
Right.
ever run after easy money. Always make smart money. So this is one thing which I always tell all of my employees as well, that do not do the hard work, do the smart work. That is where you will beat the competition. Working hard is something which a lot of people do, Sadhak. It is not, I would say, that all of those people they get success. But yes, you get to hear most of the success stories. You don't always hear the stories of failure. But everybody has worked hard. But if you work smart, trust me, you will beat the competition. So you need to understand, when you're working hard, you need to understand what you are going to achieve from this. What is the point of
Absolutely.
what is the point of working again and again and doing the same thing, which is giving you the same kind of revenue? Why don't you,
Right.
if everyone in the market is doing the same kind of thing, or providing the same kind of product, every all of
Hmm.
us who understands a little bit of business also understands something or the other about USP.
Right.
Right. So that is what you should always have. So even for the ad code, like our USP, it lies in the conception and design, I would say. So that is where
Hmm.
our USP is. We know like the kind of work we thrive on quality. So that is
Right.
where you have to be a little bit different from other from your competition. And if you're not different, then you should be able to convince the customer that somehow or the other you are.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
it's just
Right.
the smartness, and it's just your brains and your power to convince which is going to work in the future. And you just have to, like, don't even do the hard work, yeah. Like, people who tell me that okay, especially in today's world, there are
Hmm.
people who tell me that okay, we don't have the funds. How is that
Right.
possible, Sarthak? Tell me one thing. There are so many freelance jobs available. Okay,
Hmm.
there are so many opportunities today. You can just start an Instagram page and start earning money. You can make money on commissions where you don't even have to invest. If people are telling me that okay, I want to do business but I just cannot because I don't have money, then I think you're just bullshitting. Sorry to say that, but you
No,
are.
it's okay. But that's the reality. I mean, see, that is the sheer reality. And what people look forward to is like, I don't know if probably what I feel is that for them everything is like a quick money scheme right now. It's
Exactly.
like even for Instagram, you do this, you have the money. No, it's
Huh.
not.
Exactly.
Even if you want to go on Instagram, do the commission based stuff, you want brands to sponsor you, you have to build up a page. Building up a page takes time. It
Agree.
takes
You
huge
have
ass amount of time. You need to engage with users, you need to put out your name there. It's just not gonna happen.
Sarthak, my question is,
Yeah.
if people are paying me money to handle their
Right.
social media, of course they must be getting
Right.
some revenue, correct? So
Right.
Instagram page, even if you are starting an Instagram page, it requires good content. It requires good kind of creative. It requires you to speak to your customers, right? So it is
Right.
not something which, okay, you can just start. But yes, if you put your brains into that, if you put smart work into that, you can achieve it. I'm not saying that you cannot. There are so many people, so many influencers. Like, you should actually get influenced by influencers. So these influencers, they have come up from the bottom, yeah, like they've just started. And how did they start? Did they invest a lot of money? No, they did not. They started with
Instagram
just a
accounts free
phone.
for everyone.
Huh, Instagram account is free for everyone. You can take pictures from your phone, yeah. Like these days, you can
Right.
just take pictures. And uske baad bhi, if people are telling me that okay, it's very difficult and we don't have money, then I think like you are not using your potential correctly, or you just don't have the potential. Sorry to say, but accept it. Then you don't, like, this is something harsh reality. Like, people need to understand this. This is the very harsh reality that they
That
need
is, that
to
is.
that they need to understand. So, and there should be somebody to make them realize this.
Right.
Otherwise they will always, because this has become their mindset, that people who come from business family, they are able to do it. People who do MBA,
No,
only they
no,
can
no,
they can
no,
do
no.
business. No, sorry, you can do a business if you want to do a
Right.
business. So
I
that
mean,
is the
look at
point.
Ritesh Agrawal, yeah. Ritesh Agrawal and all those people. Did they have a business background or what?
Of
And or
course.
he's a billionaire out there. He didn't have a business background, and we all look up to his story. And his story is inspiring. What about other people? They're also doing business, and that doesn't really mean that if you have coming from a business background gives you an advantage. There are advantages, but it's not necessary that everyone is using those advantages. So putting everyone on the same stand is I would say very unfair, and unfair to those who are actually working their asses off.
No, Sadak, I would like to say one more thing. People who are
Right.
using that to their advantage, if they're coming from a business family, okay,
Hmm.
and if they're using that to their advantage, then what is wrong in that? There's nothing wrong in that.
No,
And if they're
there's
succeeding,
nothing wrong.
no, no, no,
They are
generally,
succeeding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there
Right.
are people who would question this. That, okay, because
Right.
there are people, these are the people who come from a business family, they had a lot of investment. Yes, they had investment, but do you understand how much time and effort it takes to manage that investment? They don't understand all of that. They just know how to point fingers, they just know how to blame others, I would say. And in this blame game, only they lose.
That's the exact thing. That's the exact, and probably they also don't understand that after a point it becomes a responsibility of those children also, that they need to work hard to keep that business going. If
Of
they don't
course.
work hard, that business is gonna fall down. The empire is gonna fall down,
Of
and that
course.
is where I believe all those notions has come from. That the third generation drains the business, the fourth generation drains the business.
So,
Silver spoon
so
doesn't
people,
remain silver if the child doesn't work.
that's very true, very true. Even you can see it in the case of Anil Ambani and Mukesh Ambani. Yeah?
Right, right, right.
That
Absolutely,
if you
absolutely
so
agree.
like it's not an advantage to have that much money. Also, you it comes with a responsibility. So if you have money, it comes with a responsibility. It is not something अच्छा ठीक है पैसा है invest करो और आगे बढ़ो, ऐसे नहीं होता है. You have to invest very smartly. It is not like that
Right.
okay, if you have money, you are going to invest it and chal gaya business. You have to put in a lot of hard work. You have to matlab, you have to uh, do that kind of hard work and be there all the time. You have to manage that business. ऐसे ही succeed नहीं हो जाता है business.
Right, 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 right. So, with that said, I mean, guys, I guess this is a very good eye opener for you, that you shouldn't judge everyone on the same plate. I mean, and if you want to judge, start looking at their journey. And honestly, this is my motive, that please look at the journeys. If this is how the nation runs, you want to know the journey, respect the person, but respect entrepreneurs. They're working their asses off, and at the end, it's just about the mindset. If some people you can't accept that, that you don't have the capacity to take risk. We're sorry, but that's not our responsibility. That's your personal mindset and nature.
That's very
So we're not pinpointing anyone, and we're not, speaking against anyone by saying all this. But it's just another, probably I would say,
a
a way to
realization.
motivate. It's a realization. It's a way to motivate that, you know, if you want to do, you can do it. And I mean, I would quote Gary Vee, and I personally believe in this also, that there are plenty of courses out there, but it's not necessary that you really need to pick up the courses. Gary Vee says that 90% of the courses are scam. I don't know how much do I believe that, but I do believe that to a certain extent, because knowledge is free.
That's
If you
true.
can't pay for the courses, just stay on the net, start learning. YouTube has got plenty of videos. You look at 10 videos, you'll learn whatever you want to learn. Only thing the courses do is this: they align the content for you. That's it.
I'll tell
That
you.
is the
So
only thing that happens.
sorry to cut you in between. So generally,
No, no, tell
I
me.
just want to share this experience. So
Sure.
one of my employees, so
Right,
she recently, she has a lot of potential. Okay, right
right.
now, I won't take her name, otherwise she will listen to this and then she will she will just tell me that, okay, oh yeah, ma'am, you just said it there, so I know that like I can do it and everything. So it's okay. I just don't know. I will tell her
It's okay, it's
separately.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
but so recently she told me, oh, I don't know this, ma'am. I won't be able to do it, but I know that I saw that potential in her. So I told her that, okay, this is the work which you are going to do. Take 2 weeks, take 3 weeks. I don't mind if the work gets delayed, but I want you to do this. I don't, you have to learn it and you have to do it. Why? Because I
right,
knew that this work would help her in future. Okay. So I always
right,
like, whosoever my, like, whenever I employ somebody, I always look for
right,
their growth. Because I'll tell you
right,
what, like, if I'm looking for their growth, no, I know that my company would grow eventually. So
right,
it's not like, I always tell them. So she recently, I told her, I sent her the YouTube video links. I did not ask her
right,
to enroll into any sort of course. I did not ask her to spend any sort of money. I never do that actually. Okay, so I told her, I sent
right,
her the video links by myself. I told her that go through these videos, learn, and if you have any questions, come up to me. You're working for my company, you should know this, and in case you have any problems, we are sitting here to support you. So that is how a person
right,
grows. And if she could do it, like, I knew that she could easily do it, and then she got the confidence as well that, oh, okay, it was that easy, and I could have done it very
right.
easily, and I was just making excuses. So she understood that. Right. So
Absolutely.
these are the kind of things which everybody needs to understand. If you want to learn something, please just start. Yeah, like, you don't have to wait for anything. Again, like, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever does. One of my favorite quotes. Right, that doubt, like, if you start doubting yourself, then you will never even achieve it. At least give it a try. If, and especially if it is not even asking for money, then you should
Hmm.
obviously give it a try. Then you have no other reason left. है ना, मतलब कि एक तो होता है कि अच्छा ठीक है
Right,
यार, इसमें इतना इन्वेस्टमेंट लग रहा है, आई वी डोंट नो व्हाट द आरओआई विल बी, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली would the benefit of will be. Dude, if you actually like something, please go and start. Yeah, like, that's if you need help with anything related to business, I would say you are free to call me and ask me. I will help you in whatever manner I can. If you're listening to this, please come up to me. I will try my best to help you.
absolutely, absolutely. With that said, I would like to re-quote Sandeep Maheshwari. I don't know if you have heard this or not,
Yeah.
but there was one of his sessions that, someone pointed him out that, you don't tell us anything different. This is something we all know beforehand. So he was
Right.
like, yes, I don't tell you anything different. It's just that I make you realize it.
Yeah.
You know everything about the business. You know that you have to stand up against the failure. You know all the stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
just make you realize it. So
Yeah.
that is the only thing that I do. And, people were astonished at that. So
Correct.
with that said, I mean, I would say that, you know, when people are doing business, you can definitely always hire consultants and they are going to help you. But they're helping from their experiences only. And if you talk to a normal businessman also, he will just explain you everything from the experiences. So at the end, what matters is only the experience, just the experience, nothing else.
That's true. And
So
even,
feel free, right?
yeah,
Please
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
So like feel free, like whosoever listens to this, if you're working somewhere, talk to your boss or the one who's running the company, or maybe your employer, or maybe let's say if you're working with Sony, if you're working with me, come up to us. We're free to help you. We would love to help you. And Sony, I would just like point out the very same thing, because I do the very exact same thing. If someone comes up and tells me in my company that I can't do this, or maybe this is the problem, I personally send them all the YouTube links, that this is exactly what you need to do, and this is where you're going to learn it.
Exactly. And
I mean,
like I
everything
don't
is
even
free.
mind helping those people. So there are employees, again, I cannot name them, who just don't want to work. And obviously, being an employer, you can see it that okay, this person does not want to work much. They just want कि अच्छा थोड़ा अपना काम किया और उसके बाद घर चले गए, ठीक है ना? So there are
Right,
those
right.
kind of people also, and you, no matter how much you try to motivate them, I have been able to change a few people from that mindset now, but there are still a few which you just cannot do anything about. है ना? So I would say like it's in you if you want to grow or not. If you have
Right.
chosen that okay, this is something I cannot do, or this is
Mm-hmm.
something very difficult to achieve, of course it is
Mm-hmm.
difficult. Another thing which I would, since we are talking, so I would like to tell you,
Right.
so Canada, like going to Canada has been one of my dreams. Okay. And it
Okay.
is not just because everybody was going to Canada. So I decided to go to Canada while I was in 11th standard. So
Oh.
at that point of time, I decided that I wanted to go to Canada. It was 7 years of hard work which took me to Canada. It wasn't my father's money which took me to Canada. It was my seven
Mm-hmm.
years of hard work which I did. I did my graduation over here. I had the opportunity to go to Canada after 12th also, but then there was some other issues because of which I did not go. And then again,
Mm-hmm.
after my graduation, I applied again. I got into the colleges and everything. I got into very good universities as well. But then also at
Okay.
that point of time, the situations were somewhat like this that I chose not to go. So there were
Right.
various factors because of which I did not. So there
Right.
were the 4 years. Then again I applied, and the day I had to submit the fees for my university,
Mm-hmm.
that demonetization happened.
Oh,
Okay.
8th of November.
Yes. So it was, so I would say, like, it was really unfortunate. I was really disheartened, but I did not give up. Right. So I kept
Right.
on trying. So it was a dream which actually came true. When I went to Canada, my first words I remember to my father was, now I need to think of a new dream because I have achieved
Okay.
one. So that was a humongous thing for me. So these are like, you should always set your personal milestones. Do that, and
Definitely.
the kind of feeling you get when you achieve those, that's that's something you cannot even define, I would say. So
Absolutely. I can
it's,
agree to that.
see, the thing is, I could have said after failing 3 times of
Mm-hmm.
when I tried of going to Canada, after failing 3 times, I could have just stopped. But no, I did not.
Right.
No matter what the reason was, I knew that I belonged there. I wanted to go there. I loved that country so much that I went to there, and now my whole family is planning to move. So that's again a huge thing for me.
Okay.
Right. So I have been
Okay.
able to convince my family also to move with me. So that's
Wow.
really, that's great for me. Yeah? Like my the things are working for me because I worked hard for it. I did not give up. ठीक है ना? मतलब ऐसा
Right.
नहीं था कि कुछ चीज में फेल हो गए तो छोड़ दो, अच्छा रहने दिया, नहीं. This is not the way you do it. If you should look at the factors, you should look at that particular situation, right? You should understand why that happened. Okay, so like
Mm-hmm.
if something wrong happens with you, give it a deep
Mm.
thought. Okay. And then there is this thing which I do. So give it a thought for 5 minutes. If you're sad about something, this is something which I apply into my personal life as well.
Hmm.
If I'm disappointed with something, I will give it 5 minutes of my life. Okay, and I will just think, would it matter after 5 years? Would, if
Okay.
it would not, I will just stop cribbing about it. It's just give, but yes, do give 5 minutes of your life to that thing, whatever, because of which you are disappointed. Do give your 5 minutes to that, grieve about it, whatever you want to do. If you want to cry about something, cry about it, do cry. It is a very good emotion. ठीक है ना? So
Right.
you should not suppress those emotions. If you feel angry about something, be angry, but for 5 minutes. Yeah, मतलब give your time to something which is valuable, which will help you in the next 5 years. So next 5 years or next 3 years, if you are thinking about 3 years, then give 3 minutes of your life. If you are thinking about 5 years, then give 5 minutes of your life. So this is
I
the
like
kind
this. I
of,
like this math. I like this math.
yeah. I actually incorporate that into my personal life, and this has helped me quite a lot. It has helped me to grow. It has helped me
Right.
to get past things which I never thought that I would. And this
Right.
is what I
Right.
have always told my closed ones also. Whenever they would be disappointed, I would never go and tell them that, oh, it's okay, it was supposed to happen. I would tell them, okay, give 5 minutes of your life, and then it's okay, then, but then stop. Like, there should
Right.
be a point where you should stop grieving about something, where you should stop thinking about that particular thing. So
Right.
yeah, just fix a time for that, and then move on. Like, fix, that is how you will learn to move on from things. Be it if for example, if it's a business decision also, okay, think how
Hmm.
it's going to affect you in 5 years. For example, if there's a client who is bothering you, or if there's a client who has recently stopped working with you, for example. Okay, so just
Hmm.
give it 5 minutes of your life, understand what exactly went wrong, try to correct it, move on.
Hmm.
That's all. That is how life goes on. Even everybody will move on eventually. ठीक है ना?
Absolutely.
It's not something which will stay with you forever. Of course, in your memories it will, but try to move on and stop
I
cribbing.
mean,
So this,
yes, yes, yes. I mean, I'm so sorry, but listening to you, I'm so much reminded of. I don't know if you read the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
no, I
Okay,
haven't.
so I read the book, and there's only like there's one thing that he keeps on repeating is that you decide what to give fuck about.
That's true.
If you give fuck about it, then it will hamper you. If you decide it's not you're not gonna give fuck about it, then fuck it. It's
Exactly.
as simple.
That's very true. That's very true, actually. So this is something I
Right.
actually incorporate into my life. I'm so glad that it's in a book. Actually, I've never read that book, but yes, that's true for me. And I actually give my time to very less things, like which actually mean something to me. I would give my time to that. Otherwise, I will just move on. So like, there are very less things that would bother me. But if something bothers me, then of course, like, I think about it, and then yeah, I just choose to move on,
That's
and I,
that's
or
lovely. I
I find
mean,
a solution to it.
right. I mean, I would say that you're a good mental space then. Very lovely
I
mental
believe,
space.
touch wood, I actually am.
Great, great, great. Okay, so moving on, Sony, this was very insightful for everyone, like talking in detail about this talk, and this was probably necessary that we someone talks about this. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation on this part. Okay, so there is another question that arises that in family businesses, a lot of time family says that why do your own business when you can join our business also and you can take it forward. You have the new knowledge and everything. So did that happen with you also? And what was the mindset then? And how was the family support for your business and everything? And why did you not exactly join your father's business and take it ahead? So tell me more about it.
Okay, so being very honest, coming from a Indian family, I believe you must also be knowing that how parents go crazy about marriage and wedding,
Right,
and especially in the case of girls. Okay, so my family is no
right,
different from that, but my parents are really supportive. right? I would never say
Hmm.
that my parents weren't supportive enough or anything of that sort, but yes, there was a
Hmm.
point of time where they thought that okay, this was the ideal age and I should get married, but I wasn't
Hmm. Hmm.
ready for it. And at that point of time I was working with my father. So that
Okay.
is when I chose that, because that was the time where the realization had hit me that, oh, if I
Okay.
keep working on with my father, what is
Hmm.
going to happen after marriage? Because it was very clear that I wouldn't be a part of the family business anymore. Okay, so
Hmm. Hmm.
this is the family mentality. Like, this was my family
Hmm.
mentality. And so I just thought that it would be better had I told my father that
Hmm.
I want to stay in your business and I want to keep on pursuing it. He would have never said no, right?
Hmm.
But then I just saw that sort of hesitation which was there, and
Right.
I chose to move apart, and I'm still helping my father with his business. I
Hmm.
won't say that
Hmm.
I'm not, right? So I'm
Hmm.
still helping him with that. In fact, I handle the whole marketing part of that business as well.
Right.
So it's not something, I would say, like there was this need to start something of my own also somewhere in the back of my mind, that I
Hmm.
chose to start it. Like, over a conversation I chose to start it, that okay, let's give it a try. So
Hmm.
that is where it started. Like, it was the mindset again. And
Right.
yeah, I think like that was, but my parents really supported me. So when I started this business of my own, they my
Uh-huh.
father always he would ask me for a support. So I have a younger brother also. At that point of
Right.
time he also got into the family business. So there
Hmm.
wasn't that so of course, and because I was also working with my father, I was handling a department in his business.
Hmm.
I never
Right.
left something to do my own business. I never left it.
Right.
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 So another thing which I follow is that when you are good at something, okay, and
Hmm.
when you have taken responsibility for something, do not just leave it over there. If I took the
Right.
responsibility and when I left the business, I chose to still take some responsibility of the business, and the other work which I was doing, I delegated it to somebody else. I trained that person. I, in fact, trained my brother also with a few things, and that
Right.
is how I eventually moved on to mine. Right. So it's
Right.
a whole
Right.
process which you need to follow. Like,
Absolutely.
it's the I would say, again, I think it's common sense. Normally also, even in the job culture, you must have seen, if somebody leaves a company, they give a 1 month notice. Why do they ask for 1 month notice? They ask for the 1 month notice because they want that other person to come in and fill for that person, so that person who's leaving the job can train the new employee and teach him
Hmm.
everything which he has learned from his experience in this company, in
Right.
this particular company. So that is
Right.
something which is called professionalism also. So if you
Definitely.
have knowledge of that, if you understand that, then I don't think you will face a lot of problems in the future. Of course, it's just a roller coaster. You never know what is going to happen. For example, this COVID-19 situation, who thought of it? Nobody did. So
Right. Right.
it's a dynamic world you're living in, and there are a few things which you just cannot avoid. So you should just learn how to handle it. There is no escape route for that. You cannot escape it, but you have to find a solution to it. So if you find a
Right.
solution, my father has always taught me one thing, that you have to find a solution. If you're stuck in a situation, find a solution for it. There is no
Hmm.
escape route. Like, you cannot
Right.
just avoid the situation and okay, everything will be okay. No, that does not happen. You have to find a solution for it, work for it, and there is always a solution. Always a solution.
Okay, so for this, I've got two quotes. This is the one. This one is from Never Back Down, the film's name, and this is the one that the trainer tells the guy he's training, the protagonist, that the guy goes like, I don't have a choice. That I don't know how to get out of this move and stuff. The trainer goes like, you always have a choice. Right. And this another quote from this is from my favorite. Like this comes from Suits. Okay, so if you would have watched Suits, you
Yeah,
would
yeah,
probably know what I'm talking about. Harvey tells Mike that that if you're against the wall and someone's pointing a gun at you, there's 36 other ways you can take the gun and make
yeah.
the
Oh, yeah,
gun
yeah,
go
yeah, I
away or
remember
do
that
something else.
dialogue.
I mean, so this is just the very same thing, different words, same intention. So
Exactly.
perfectly said. Nice. So I really, it's good to know that why you did not join the business and what you had in the back of the mind. It's a good insight, I would say. So and probably a lot of people and I can also see this as a motivation. Honestly, if I would say that a lot of women can get motivated listening to this because I mean, this is a reality. This is definitely a reality, and I have had words with people where I've heard, girls telling me that they'll get married as soon as they're 23 or 22, and even though they come from a very good and well-off background, but they're not into business and stuff. But this does works out as a motivation that when you leave the family, it's not definite that you can work that way towards the business. So it's good to have something of your own.
Exactly,
So
that's true.
that's very
I believe
motivating.
that everybody should be financially independent, and before they take any decision about their life, before they think of settling down. Of course, there are people who think that it's okay, and if it works for them, then that's fine. But that is generally my mentality. I would have never wanted
Right.
to settle down until and unless I got financially independent. So that is
Absolutely.
something which is
Completely agreeable.
very essential for me, I would say. Like until and
Absolutely.
unless you are not, why in this, in especially in our community, I believe there is this mindset where
Mm-hmm.
parents expect their son to be financially
Mm-hmm.
independent, to be well settled before he gets married, but
Mm-hmm.
they are okay with their girl not doing anything. Why is that? Like it's a huge problem which I see. And I would
See,
say,
if I talk about, I'm so sorry to cut you off here, but if I talk about this thing, no, I there's one thing that I say that these problems are so crucial and they are so deep down in our culture that you can date them back. I don't know till what histories and
that's
till
true.
what centuries, and it's so difficult to pull them out. I mean, it would probably take centuries to change that mindset, and
If
it's
you
with
so sorry, continue. I'll say it later.
Right. So it's like the youth needs to change their mindset first, then only the older people can change the mindset.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
So that's what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was just
yeah.
trying to tell you that recently, I'm not sure if you've seen this LinkedIn article which I recently posted. So it's a
Right.
that aerial marketing campaign
Right.
where the Ariel started this marketing campaign and started
Uh-huh.
asking people, is it only a women's job to do laundry or to the
Uh-huh.
household chores? So this is what Ariel focused on. And it be, please do read that article which I've written on LinkedIn. You will see,
Definitely.
really like how they actually saw the problem in the society and used it as an awareness campaigns. So normally this is the kind of stuff I like to write about, I like to read about, right? So I mean, if you are learning about the society, you're understanding what exactly is happening in the society, you will see the problems. Again, the story which I told you of my father, that he was
Right.
knocking on the
Right.
different rolls, the different plastic paper rolls, right? And just because of listening to it carefully, you could identify the problem. So I think it is
Right.
same in the society as well. If you listen to it, you will identify the problem. So just quoting something. So it's during the aerial research in
Right.
2014, they found out that 79% of Indian men, it was on Indian
Right.
men, study was on Indian men, they thought that
Okay.
household chores are a women's job and that outdoors work is a man's job. It was in 2014 and we are in 2020 right now. Okay, and I don't even count to 2020 actually, to be honest. So
No one does. No one does. I would say.
so yeah, let's get
Right.
further. So anyway,
Right.
this was the 2014 study, and after their campaign in 2016,
Hmm.
this number dropped to 63%, and in 2018 further it dropped to 52%. So I believe there is that change which is happening right now, but still
Hmm.
there is a huge gap which needs to be covered. So
There
these are
is
the
a
kind
gap.
of issues which people should talk about, which people should understand. Even in my own family, I
Hmm.
my sisters, I always talk to them, I always tell them that okay, you should do something of your own. Why don't you start something of your own? If you want to, I will help you with it. Because honestly, having the marketing background, I just try to help as many people as I can, because marketing is something which has the power to grow any business.
Actually, I mean,
And
honestly, you need marketing for everything. Or if we see
literally,
to it, you need marketing for everything.
that's true for everything. For everything, you need marketing. It's, see, again, I saw the demand in the market, Sarthak. That is how I got into it, right? So
Right.
you just need marketing, and if you have that skills in you, right, marketing can help you grow any business. Can it, if you choose the
Absolutely.
right marketing strategy, if you choose the right marketing plan, if you choose the right marketing person for you, then your business will grow. So this is
Absolutely.
marketing. You should actually focus on your marketing strategy. You should not spend everywhere and anywhere you think that okay, if everybody is spending on Instagram, I should also spend more on Instagram. No, please understand your market and then choose your platform. This is what a lot of my clients who come up to
Hmm.
me, they come up and tell me that, oh okay, we want to do marketing on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, if
Right.
then I tell them, if you're a B2B business, for example, I'm just telling you about B2B businesses. Okay, so
Right.
at that time I tell them, if you're a B2B business, have you ever considered LinkedIn? Oh, what?
Hmm.
No, we actually, LinkedIn doesn't help that much. It's okay, we just want to focus more on
Hmm.
Instagram and Facebook. At that point of time I tell them that please understand that major competition of yours is targeting clients through LinkedIn. Okay,
Right.
and that is where the success lies. Of course, having a digital presence, having your page on Instagram
Hmm.
or Facebook is essential, agreed.
Right.
Right, you should have a hygiene of your social media presence. Like, you should have hygiene of
Absolutely.
your social media pages, right? But
Right.
eventually you should have your targets set. You should know what kind of market you're targeting. You should work with the data points. You should understand who is your target market. Once you've understood that target market, then start asking and answering questions as per your target audience. That is what I tell each and every customer of mine, that when you're creating a website, do not tell me what you want in the website. Think it
Hmm.
from the customer's perspective. Think
Right.
what and how they would navigate your website, not how
Right.
you want to see your website. Right, so
Absolutely.
these are a
Absolutely.
few things, like even in marketing. So that is what I tell you, like there are a lot of people who have gotten into this business without any
Hmm.
sort of experience. Okay, and I have, Satak, honestly, I've had so many clients now
Hmm.
who come up to me and they have literally lost faith in marketing. They would come up to me and say, oh, we tried that freelancer, they were doing it for this much, and we did not get any results, so we are not sure anymore. Okay, so at that point of time, or they would just compare me to a freelancer. At that point of time, I would tell them that
Hmm.
when you're choosing a freelancer, there are a lot of freelancers who have that experience, but then there
Right.
are so many who don't have any sort of experience and they've gotten into this
Right.
freelancing job. I honestly do not respect those people who come into a business without any sort of knowledge. Right, if you are getting into business, if you're taking money from anybody, they should know the truth. If you are taking money
Right.
from anybody, they should know that you do not have any past experience. Okay, and they should know that okay, you don't have knowledge, but you're trying it for them. No matter, even
Right.
if you're charging them very less money, they should know
Right.
each and everything about what they're investing into. है ना? So
I
this
agree to
is
this. I completely agree to this, and I've experienced this firsthand myself. I mean, I shoot, I know this thing, and I know the nitty-gritty of photography. And I'm like, why do you guys have to shoot when you don't know how to shoot? You
Exactly.
guys are doing nothing but just ruining my market.
Huh. Nay, what?
That client wouldn't come up and pay to me. He'll tell me that, okay, that guy can shoot for this much. Why should I pay you this much?
Yeah, so at that point of time, my clear answer is that why don't you do one thing? You just go with that guy, and in case you
Right.
have any problems, feel free to come up to me. Okay.
Hmm.
And then I will take care of that problem. I do not mind it, but please go and try that person. I always tell them that. I always tell that upfront to all of my clients. So,
Hmm.
because I know that they won't be able to deliver the quality, that then if you are okay with that quality, then I don't think you are my customer also. Like you are not the customer I was targeting then. If you
Right.
are
Right.
okay with that kind of quality, if you are taking my service, I'm promising you quality. I'm an agency which is sitting here. I am telling you that I will do this work. I have experience. Okay, so
Right.
I come from the experience. I'm providing you with a proper plan. I'm talking a plan with you. I'm talking strategy with you, and then you're comparing me to a freelancer, which is not bad at all. There are amazing freelancers I've worked with, Sarthak. Honestly, like I have worked with amazing, the best freelancers in the
Right.
market. But then I have seen freelancers. So for example, I'll give you a very very small example, and I am sure you would be able to relate to that. So there was
Right.
a content writer. Okay,
Right.
I actually came across her profile through LinkedIn itself.
Right.
So she listed herself as a content writer, and then she posted something on LinkedIn itself, and
Hmm.
it was just a one line post, just one line post. It was on Father's Day. I still remember it. It was recently this happened. It
Right.
was on Father's Day, and she had posted, I did not wanted. Okay.
Right.
So at that point of time, I was like, if you cannot correct your grammar in one sentence, which you're posting publicly, where most of your clients are, how do you
Right.
expect to get work? And then these freelancers complain that we do not have work, we are not getting work, or we cannot earn money. Of course, you need to gain knowledge to earn money. है ना? ऐसे you won't get it
Absolutely.
easy. money किसी के लिए नहीं है. So this is something which people need to understand, which they should actually consider.
Right. 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 Absolutely. I 110% agree to this. Okay. So my next question to you, Sony, is that you told us that you, after 3 to 4 months of starting this business with Arpit, you went to Canada and you were having plenty of sleepless night, and he was working from here. So I want to know more about this experience. How was it? How did you deal with it? Because at such times many partners fail and businesses go down the drain and things just go in the opposite direction. You guys have managed it and you're working well right now. So, what was all this experience like, and what were the fights like, and how did you guys deal with it? Tell me more about this.
So again, Sarthak, as I told you, I would say, because me and Arpit, we both knew each other since our
Hmm.
childhood. We both knew
Right,
how the other person works. We both knew how to get the work done from the other person. Right. So that is, of course, we have also had our ups and downs. There was a time where we, because of our MBA, like my MBA, so I was
uh-huh.
also not able to cope up. Like there was a time, there was a week where I was feeling really low. I thought that okay, like maybe it's too much, and I should just maybe focus on one thing. But then
Right.
also, it's just the part where you don't give up. You motivate the other person. So at that point of time, Arpit came into the picture. He also told me. He told me that okay, like it's okay if you think it's too much of work pressure. I will handle it for some time. That is not an issue at all. It's the
Hmm.
understanding. So I believe whenever you're getting into a partnership, or even if you're hiring an employee, that is something you should always look for. You should understand the person, how the person is, if they would be able to work with you, if you would be able to work with them or not. right? So that is something which is always there. And um I don't think that you can actually predict it earlier. It's just in our case, like Arpit and I, we both just knew each other. So I think that
Right.
was the part which helped us quite a lot. So yeah, and I think like when I moved to Canada, there were certain challenges, and it was not just the sleepless nights that we were having when we started the business. Even
Mm-hmm.
today, we have sleepless nights. So my schedule. So right now, like my schedule, what it looks like after coming to India. I have been in
Right.
India from the past 2 to 3 months now because of the COVID situation.
Okay.
Right. So I would be going back as soon as things get a little better. So that is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm waiting for. But after coming here also, and even while I was in Canada, I still have to give my 200, my 300% to this business. And so I would still stay up sometimes till 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. And normally I cannot go to sleep anytime before 3 a.m. in the morning, because that is the time I'm taking calls from Canada or from the US. Right.
Right.
So those are the calls which I have to take. I cannot miss those calls. And then I would again wake up. I will make sure to wake up at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. So that is my sleep. And at 10 o'clock, as soon as I get up, I have another call scheduled. Right. So it is not something that I crib about. This is something I
Right.
know that I have to do, because this is the grilling, I would say. And this is what I have been taught, that if you grill yourself in these initial years, then you
Mm-hmm.
make yourself some income and that reputation in the industry, in the market, which will help you
Right.
in the longer term, in the longer run.
Right.
So that is why
Absolutely.
I don't mind giving my 300%, even if it asks for my 400%. I have, which it is not healthy, and I'm not even suggesting anybody to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
I have actually given, like I have actually worked for 24 hours non-stop. So I have done that without sleeping. And this is not
Right.
an exaggeration. This is the kind of hard work I have been putting in, and I'm really proud of that. If it is a huge achievement, I would say, that all of my clients who have joined me are still with
Mm-hmm.
me till date. That is a
Wow.
huge achievement for me, right? So
That's
the retention
exactly
rate,
right.
if I'm able to achieve that kind of retention rate, so that's very good for me. Right. So if
Absolutely.
I'm giving my 200%, my 300%, if my employees are giving 200%, so even my clients, they are happy. So one thing I always tell my employees also, and this is
Right.
what Arpit and I, we both always make sure happens, that if we take care of our clients, because we believe if we take care of them, they will
Uh-huh.
eventually take care of our business.
Absolutely.
Right. So it is the kind of relationship you form with them, the kind of services you provide with them. I'm not saying that we
Right.
have never made any sort of mistakes. There
Mm-hmm.
have been mistakes, but we have done things to compensate to that.
Right.
Right. When there is a mistake, you need to understand that when there's a mistake, you need to understand that hold on, just
Sure. 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 No. Sure.
hello.
Yeah.
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 When I'm just saying that when there is a mistake, at that point of time, you just need to understand what is like what you can do to correct it. Right. So
Right.
that's just one thing. Like I would tell, if anybody is listening to this, like whosoever is listening to this, I would like to tell them, if there is a mistake, please try to do something upfront. To try to do something proactively for your client, or whatever. If you can offer them any kind of service which might in which you might not make profit, then also try to offer it to them if you have made any sort of mistake. That will compensate for that, and the client will see that you want to retain them. So it is not always about making money. It's about making the connection. It's about developing those kind of relationships. That
Right.
is what will matter in the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, that's again an insight, how you're managing stuff at both the end. Now, this is something which I want to know from your mindset, that many times it happens, like in startups also. Let's say if one person is job, one is full time doing the startup, and the other person convinces the other that you need to leave your job and come in full time. So it's like kind of a risk factor also, that you have convinced him to leave the job, now take up a risk. So it is your responsibility that this thing has to work, because it needs to put in food in both the stomachs, and more stomachs, I would say. So when Arpit left the job to continue working and give full time to this company, what was your mindset like, and what did you think about कि यार ठीक है, अब now he's left the job and we're into this together, and what did your head go through?
Honestly, there was always this risk factor which we had considered earlier only. Okay, fine, we
Hmm.
took the decision over a beer, but
Hmm.
we did consider all of this. We took it into the consideration that okay, he would be leaving his job, I would be leaving my father's business. So
Right.
how are we both going to manage, and how are we going to survive in this market? So that is why
Right.
we moved very strategically. We made the decisions which helped us quite a lot, right? So it is about how you pursue your business, how you have strategized it, what kind of revenue are you looking from your business in the future, है ना? So
Hmm.
those are the few things which you should always consider. So if you're taking a risk, Sarthak, I would say that okay, so if had I convinced Arpit for this business, and
Right.
had he left
Right.
the job, and if we would have failed at this point of time, then
Hmm.
also I would say, like, I'm the kind of person who would have felt bad for some time, that
Right.
okay, yeah, maybe I convinced him, but then I try to go into peace that the other person whom I convinced was no child either. He was
Right.
responsible enough to take the decisions, and all these risk factors were known to him or her, right? So
Right.
those are a few things which you should always know. Like, if again, if there is a mistake, find a way to solve it. If you cannot solve it, then let it go. Right. So, like, there is, first of all, I don't believe that there is no
Absolutely.
solution to anything. There is always a solution. So, we
Absolutely.
knew in our hearts, we knew in our mind that, okay, this would succeed. Because I knew that there is always demand for marketing, and there always would be. This is
Right.
something people cannot deny. Even during the lockdown, marketing was in demand. I wouldn't say that it wasn't.
Absolutely.
So people did change their preferences. They did go from offline to online more, but it did not stop. So the kind of business you choose, it depends a lot on that business. A lot of course, you take a lot of risk. You put in a lot of stakes on your business. When you're taking a risk, Sarthak, you just know that you're taking a risk. And if you are going
Absolutely.
to regret it, I have made my policy to not regret on any of my decisions. If I am
Absolutely.
making a decision, then, and if something goes wrong per se in the future, then I should be able to handle it. Like, I should know how to deal with it. I do not like to play the blame game, that oh, because he convinced
Absolutely.
me to do so, that is why it happened. No, I had my own brains. I took the decision, and if it happened, it's okay. We will figure a way out to get out of it. That's it. Like, keep yourself calm and just try to figure out a way rather than cribbing or blaming the other person. Please, like, just stop doing that. That way you're just wasting your energy into something which will produce no value. Rather,
Absolutely.
use that energy into something that will help you in the longer run or in the future.
Right. I mean, I would definitely say this. It's after a very, very, very long time that I don't actually remember anyone else saying this, but It's after a very long time that I'm listening someone say the very exact words that I go by the notion in my life also that Sarthak, whatever you do, just don't regret your actions.
Because that's true actually, like it doesn't make sense at all to me.
Right,
अगर तुमने कोई decision लिया, okay, so
right,
you should understand at that point of time in that situation it felt right. Okay, and
right,
if it felt right, you took that decision, it happened, it's done. Now if you're regretting that decision, you know what you're doing, you're just wasting some more of your time on that decision. So another thing which I will tell you,
right.
when we went to Canada. So apart from the ad code, I was trying to set up another business also. So that
Okay,
was for my father. So I still have
okay,
two to three other things going on the side with
okay.
the ad code and my MBA. So like I'm that.
Wow, you're a superwoman, I would say.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say I have become like kind of workaholic. I've become crazy, and this is the part like I've just accepted, and
Right.
so it's not even healthy anymore. So so I
I
don't.
can understand that, right?
But
Right,
but when I went to Canada, so me and my brother. So I have a younger brother. He has also gotten into business, as I told you, from my father.
right. Mm-hmm.
So though we have an import and export business, which and we already deal with a lot of countries. We deal with US, Europe, and China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and UK. So like we deal with Canada also. But when we went
Right,
there, so it was a new thing to us altogether because we had to set up everything over there.
right.
Right. So we were looking for more of our customers and the sales base in Canada itself. Okay, so what we did, like whatever business idea we had, we went and we walked into. So there's that culture in Canada that you walk
Mm-hmm.
into a lot of stores. Okay, just idhar to they don't respect you enough. No, if you walk into a business and try to sell your
Uh,
product or services,
हाँ जी,
then
हाँ
they
जी.
don't respect you enough over here. But
Right, right,
this is the cultural change. They don't
right,
look at you with that mindset, like they understand where you're coming from, and everybody is on their own over there.
right.
Okay, so we had worked in to 300 to 400 factories within 5 months. Within 5 months,
Okay,
like physically both of us, we went into that those factories. We asked them if they had the material which we were looking for. Okay,
right.
so we gave 4 to 5 months after going to Canada. We both gave our time to that as well. Okay, and finally, after the fifth month, after walking into so many factories, like we had covered almost h- half of, not even half, actually more than 70% of the factories in BC, which dealt in that product.
Okay,
Okay, so we had, and BC in itself, it's very huge. British Columbia, it's
right,
huge.
right, right.
So having covered all of those factories, we were smart enough to take a decision after 5 months that
Hmm.
okay, if we are not getting it, this is the last try we will give it, and we will leave it over there itself if it doesn't
Right,
work anymore. Right, so
right.
to be able to take that decision, to be able to take a decision when you are in when you have given 5 months of your life, and five
Hmm.
months into a business, and being able to take a decision that okay, we should not continue this because it is not going to give us revenue, the kind of revenue we are expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to take that decision was like, I think it's essential, and you should have that kind of power. You should be rational enough to understand what is right and what is not. Because I see a lot of people who invest their years, their 3 years, 4 years, they would invest into something and
Hmm.
get nothing out of it, and then they would say that we worked really hard. Again, working hard is not the key. Working smart is.
Right.
Right. So taking that decision after 5 months that okay, we should leave this one and we should look for some other business aside from what we are doing right now. So that helped
Hmm.
us quite a lot. So my brother, he has also gotten into a different distribution business on his own
Oh,
itself. Okay, so
okay.
that is also a huge milestone which we have achieved together. So we both were also being able to support each other in our decisions, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
these are the kind of things which people should look up to, rather than just saying that, okay, if they are coming from business families, they have the background. No, this is
Absolutely.
not correct. And if you have that kind of mindset, you need to change it. You need to understand how people are succeeding, what kind of efforts they are putting in to develop a very small business also. Okay, I wouldn't
Right,
say that you are or like I wouldn't say that my brother's business is very huge, or the Adcode is a very huge company. We have great clients, we have huge clients, we have clients from Fortune 500 country, from Fortune 500 companies as well. But
right,
we still believe that there is a lot to achieve. Chicken, and
right,
and
right,
these are the
right,
things which you achieve from smart work. Yeah, you should be smart enough. You should understand what your competition is. You should be able to take right decisions at the right time. And even if you've taken a wrong decision, you should be able
right,
to accept that. Acceptance is very essential, because some people, they are just not ready to accept that, okay, maybe the field of business they are into might be wrong. And that is also in the job culture which I've seen. A lot of
right,
people, they are doing the job, we all must have heard it everywhere, that a lot of people who are doing their job, they are not satisfied with the job. But
right.
did they even consider changing their field of work? No, they did not. Or even if they
Many
did,
don't.
did they work hard enough for that? Maybe if they try, it's a risk which you're taking. It's, you have to take
Absolutely.
the risk some at some point, and you, if you have realized something, try to accept it. So yeah, that's really.
Right, right. I mean, I would say that, the biggest risk, actually, not I would say, this is quoting Mark Zuckerberg, the
Mhm.
biggest risk is not taking any risk. That's a very, very plain and simple statement that defines life in lots and lots of manners and terms, I would say.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's.
With that said, Sony, every startup, every company has its own share of failures and hiccups, right?
Mhm.
So if I talk about yours, what would the biggest hiccup or failure that you would have faced in your startup, and how did you overcome it, and what did it teach you?
So I believe, Sarthak, I've already kind of mentioned it, that after
Uh-huh.
starting the ad code in 3 to 4 months, I went to Canada. So that was
Right,
a very, very big hiccup for us, I would say. Right, both of
right.
us, me and Arpit, we would discuss how we are going to work. Like before I was going to Canada, how is it going to happen? What are we going to do? Because in India,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, when we started the business, most of our business came from referral also. Correct.
Right,
So when you initially start, I believe your first customer comes from the referral,
definitely.
right? So that is something which was here in India. But when I went to Canada, so I knew that, because obviously I don't know anybody there. I
Hmm.
had a few family friends, but of course I did not expect them to give me business, and I did not know a lot of people over there who would help me with references. So
Right,
I myself have walked into 500 or 600 companies and offices and introduce them to the ad code. Okay,
wow.
so I have been able to do that within a year. So again, if this is not hard work, I don't know what else is. Right. So there
No,
came a
no, no.
point after
Right,
being able to walk into so many companies, there was a point the other marketing agencies in Vancouver knew that there is something called the ad code in the market, which was again an achievement for me.
absolutely,
Right. So being
absolutely.
able to establish that name within a year, that's a huge, huge, huge milestone in itself.
No, that definitely is. That definitely. I mean, big people, established people talking already about that. There's this person playing around. I mean, who is this? What is this? That does make a difference. That's a lot of difference, I would say. Oh my God. So yes, this was this, and I guess with that, I am towards the end of the podcast, and I don't think so that I'm left with many more questions out there. But if there's this one question that I would ask, are you money minded? What would you say?
If you, I think it's a very controversial question, and I can
I
go
know,
on
I know.
about it uh,
Right,
as much as you want.
right.
So if you're doing a business, so actually yesterday only I was having a conversation about this. So I read
Okay.
this article on LinkedIn itself again. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
I read this article. So normally, like, whenever I get time, I would just go across and read a few posts. In fact, I miss a lot of messages also on my LinkedIn because I'm just reading a few posts, or I would just put on my thoughts. So
Right,
anyway, coming back to the topic, I
right,
read this article where this person, he was talking about potato chips, which for Lay's and all these companies
right,
fill
right,
air in the packets
right,
and try to make money from that. Right. So he
right.
was talking about how these companies can help the environment, and
Mm-hmm.
if they reduce the air from the packet and make the packet a little smaller, or make the
Right,
packet smaller. And but then again, he was talking about how the mindset of the customer, what exactly the mindset of the customer is. He won't pay
right.
10 rupees for the smaller packet, like the packaging, but he would
Mm-hmm.
pay 10 rupees for the package which looks big, and even if it has the same amount of chips in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he wasn't saying that they are doing wrong, but he was suggesting that these companies, if they cut down on their packaging, okay, or
Mm-hmm.
if they change their packaging method, then they can help the environment a lot. So
Right,
I was having a discussion amongst other business professionals yesterday,
right,
if it was correct or not. So if you think from a business perspective, this is how they're making profit,
right,
right? Otherwise they might not be able to make profit, and they might not be standing where they are currently.
right.
Right. And I believe there are CSR activities which, because of which you already, like, you have to give back to the environment. You have to do
Right,
certain things to the for the environment. So I believe
right.
those activities are in place, and those activities are keeping in check, even if they are doing something wrong for the environment. Somewhere or the
Mm-hmm.
other, at this point of time, environmentalists will say that, okay, this is absolutely wrong and this
Hmm.
should not be done. But if you look from a business perspective, so
Right.
is thinking about profit wrong? And if then again, environmentalists would say harming the environment and making profit, it's wrong. But if you
Hmm.
are through your CSR activities, or if you are giving back to the environment, then are you not
Right.
compensating for it?
Right.
So
I mean, the way I see it is that, probably you will definitely agree to this. You can only give back when you have enough to give back.
that's
You
true.
can't give back when you don't have anything in your own pocket. So I guess that is the reason which for which many of the entrepreneurs who work, and probably you would also be working somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
So
So
and
for a
if
bigger
you would have
motive,
seen, normally these companies who cut down wood, right,
right,
who deal with wood. So what do they do? If they cut down one tree, they have to plant another 10. This is
right,
what the forest policy says in Canada, especially. Okay,
okay,
so this is what is there. So if they're
right,
cutting one tree, are they doing wrong? No, they're not. But
uh,
they are putting 10 plants as well. Right.
right,
There
right,
are a lot of things which you have to consider before saying if you're money minded or not. The question comes to the ethics eventually. This question
Right.
actually comes to the ethics of the business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree to this. And again, this is what I wanted to bring out that guys, whosoever touch what I've been talking to as of now, and I look forward ki we all have a bigger motive, and sometimes it may be clear, sometimes it might not be clear, but it's pretty much clear that you want to give back to the society. And the genuine entrepreneurs, I would say, and probably all the businessmen who are doing the right business, right? So they all wish to give back in one way or the other, and that is the only way you can give back, when you have enough to give back,
And you should
right?
give back in some or the other form. Please do that. If you
Right.
have knowledge, give knowledge only. If you
Right.
cannot give back society through money, it's not it does not has to relate to money always. You can give back in the form of knowledge. You can give back in form of a nice gesture. Also, you can do anything. So always give back, and you will grow. You will honestly
Definitely.
grow.
Definitely. Okay, so I don't think that's anything left that I would want to ask you. I've got everything from you that I would want to know. So before we end, Sony, if you want to give out any business mantra, although you've given out so many mantras, I would say like something that I already know that two quotes that you go by, but still, what would be your mantra that you would want to give out?
I've actually given my business mantras. I've given all my business mantras over here, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, I would just say that stop doubting yourself today and start with whatever idea you have had. Give it a try. If you are, and if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to start a business, I'm talking to people who want to start a business. So if you've had any of the ideas, at least give it a try. Just try it out, and do not get scared from working hard. Do not get scared, and find out ways to work smart. So this is I'm forgetting who quoted this.
Mm-hmm.
Some I'm just forgetting the name of the person, but
No worries.
there was this quote which I really incorporated to my life when I hire my employees. That when you
Right.
hire your employees, okay, and when you have a very difficult work to do, give it to the laziest person in your
Bill
company.
Gates.
Bill
Bill
Gates.
Gates.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, so give it
Right.
to the laziest person in your company, and they will find the
The
easiest
easiest
way,
way to
easiest
do
way
the
to
job.
do that, right?
Absolutely.
So
Right.
I believe I am that person. I am that laziest person, but I find the easiest way to get the job done. So even for my clients,
Right.
whenever they come up to me with a problem, I just tell them, "Oh, you can do it that way." So they would go like, "Oh, okay, yeah, actually." So that is the kind of thing. So like if you actually like you can just do it, man. Like just go ahead, just take a risk in life. And you if you regret it, I don't think you will. If you don't even try it, you will regret it at that point of time. So just give it a try.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, this was a good one. So before we end, there's one thing that we do, Sony, is that we ask our guests to recommend us another entrepreneur whom you think has a very inspiring and insightful journey, whom we can talk to on the show. So whom would you recommend?
I would recommend that you talk to my brother Saksham Jain. So he is just 22, 23 right now, and he
Right.
has been able to achieve a company, a multinational company, and he has been able to achieve the kind of milestones which I haven't seen anybody achieving in my current family. So I would say that you should talk to him. That
Then
is what I would
definitely I'll
I would
talk to him
suggest.
and I'll request you to connect me with him as well, right? So that I can get him on the show and talk to him about his journey. Right. With that said, guys, this was Sony Jain with us. A very insightful talk, and I would probably fail at words trying to compile the talk. I would say rather go back and listen to the complete podcast again if you're driving, riding, or whatever you are doing out, but there's so much that I don't know how to say. But yes, quoting Sony back, stop doubting yourself and start working for it, right? And I don't know what else is left, but yes, Sony is running that company, Adcode, which is already working with huge clients out there. And if you want to get something marketed, then yes, you can definitely approach Sony, and she'll get the work done. Be it Canada, be it India. If anyone in Canada is by chance listening to me right now, I would request you to do hit up Sony for your campaigns and marketing strategies. And if you like the podcast, do hit the follow button as well, please. Right, that's a very humble request, but that's fine. With that said, I wanna thank you, Sony, for taking out time and giving me the special time of yours and that we're able to finally record this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I would like to say thank you so much, Sarthak. It was such a fun talk. I did not realize the time, and I actually enjoyed talking on this show. And if anybody is listening to this, please follow Sarthak back. He is doing an amazing job, and he started something which he wanted to. So you can also do it. You should do it. Please go ahead and do it. And Sarthak is trying to motivate all of you by bringing entrepreneurs on his podcast. So please support him, please follow him, and if you want to support him, please start something of your own.
Thank you so much, Sony. With that said, I'll try before the corona. I can see you once, else we'll remain connected. Thank you so much again for coming in. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Sarthak. Thank you.
I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
I hope that you're able to take back something insightful from this podcast and apply it in your life to be a better version of yourself and add to your Dhandho Ni Soch. If you know someone whom you think should feature on my podcast and has a very inspiring entrepreneurial journey, then do drop me a DM on my Instagram, SarthakVarshney. Sarthak Varshney. Yeah, that's me. I'm the founder of SV Clicks, and SV Clicks is the producer of this show. You can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn as well with the same name. If you're willing to listen to more of such unheard, inspiring stories of the entrepreneurs, then don't forget to follow us by pressing that follow button on your podcast screen. Thank you for being such an amazing audience. Keep learning, keep growing. We'll be back soon. See ya.